Okay, so now we are going to get the Buddha's response to the devata's question about what is maṅgalamuttamaṃ, or the highest blessing, or maybe the most favorable circumstance, we could say. Asevanā cha bālānaṃ paṇḍitānañca sevanā, pūjā cha pūjaneyyānaṃ, etaṃ maṅgalamuttamaṃ. Non-association with the foolish, association with the wise, the honoring of those who should be honored. This is the highest blessing. Okay, now we are entering the dangerous waters of Pali Grammar, and I'll timestamp when we're out of that for those who are not interested in this discussion. At that point, we will go into a discussion of the meaning of the words. And we will, as much as possible, just focus on the relationship of the words in this Pali Grammar section. So notice here we have put in green 3 words. These all happen to be feminine nominative singular nouns, and they have this ending, and that is one of the markers for feminine nouns. So, or feminine gender nouns, I should say. So, um, that is what is happening here. The last part we'll get to in a minute. It's this is a this is repeated in every verse. So, um, so we have these nouns here in the nominative, and so those are basically going to be our subjects. And related to these nouns, we have, I didn't put any color for these, but we have these genitive or dative plurals. They're masculine, genitive, or dative plurals. This last one happens to be a future passive participle. And actually, we're going with this one here. Notice that this reading is preferred by the Sri Lanka, the Thai, the Khmer or Cambodian, and the Pali Text Societies Tipitaka. So I think this one is the Burmese reading, perhaps. They both mean the same thing, they're different forms. But the future passive participle carries with it this sense of obligation. This pūjanīyānaṃ, again, the dative, masculine dative or genitive plural, comes from this verb pūjeti, to honor, worship, respect. So here we have something like should be honored and respected. And maybe if it were genitive, of those who should be, or to those who should be honored and respected. So when we have a participle like this, and remember, participles are verbal adjectives. This is something like, the Billy Joel song. Let's see if I can type here. Only the, I cannot. Only the good die young. Here we say the good, or he says the good. We understand people. Like it again. And we would call this a substantive use of the adjective here. We're not specifying that it means people, but it's understood that it means people. It doesn't mean only the good cars die young or things. It could, I suppose, but in this case, it's going to mean something like people. And so we have the same situation up here when we're talking about to be honored, it's those people. And I suppose it could be things, but it's hard to imagine the things that need to be honored and kind of worshipped and respected. You actually, I shouldn't say that because we could probably imagine some, but so we could even extend this to things, but we could say those. Probably my feeling is that this means people, but I am, dear listener, I certainly welcome any of your insights regarding this. But, and in this case, I should say it doesn't simply mean people, it could mean any of the divine beings. So that's our setup here. And the idea of these genitive slash datives, I guess we're either saying that it's association to or of. I mean, I think association of, so the genitive would kind of make sense. Non-association, let's notice that this Asevanā is just, these are the same words, but this one, this prefix turns it into the negative or the opposite. So here we have the association of, or associating, we might say in English with, not associating with, and honoring, honoring of. Okay, we're going to move out of the dangerous waters of Pali Grammar. We'll see the alert has ended, has subsided. We'll talk a little bit about the words here, then, the actual meaning. So we started that, but let's look at, again, sevanā. Sevanā is non-association, and of the or association, we might, again, in English say with, paṇḍitā. So this is where in English we get the word pundit, someone who is learned, the wise, we might just say. So association with the wise, that puts us in a favorable circumstance because we can learn from them. I should have mentioned, I am sorry about this. We're getting a little grammar here. Here we get this cha 3 times. This is exactly what we would expect, these bullet points. This cha, A cha, B cha, C cha would mean A and B and C. A, B, C being these 3 clauses or whatever they're enumerating. So I start with this one simply because it's the kind of the positive form of the noun. We can go here. We get the opposite of that, sevanā. And so not associating with the foolish. Again, this puts us in very good, puts us in a favorable circumstance because we are not being sort of dragged down. We're not being subjected to that. And now we could make an argument that being around the foolish, we could, if we are wiser than the foolish, maybe we can help spread wisdom, etc. But I think this idea here is that just not associating with, maybe not being close with, not taking advice from, etc., not falling in with the wrong crowd, so to speak. And then this pūjā, we hear this a lot. You might have like a pūjā, like kind of an altar set up for those who are worthy of respect. And so we can see right here very clearly pūjā and pūjanīyānaṃ. These clearly come from the same word. And again, honoring those, it helps us, amongst other things, it helps us be humble. This helps us be humble. And humility is good because keep in mind one thing on the whole Buddhist journey of building up virtue, concentration, and or meditation and wisdom, sila, samadhi, and paññā, is that there is no I. That this I that we commonly think of when we go about the daily grind is an illusion. It's part of moha. It's delusional. So when we humble ourselves, we are curtailing this. We're curtailing the ego wanting to assert itself, wanting to be an I. So I think that's amongst many things that helps us. It also just helps build a better world where we're not all trying. It's sort of a honoring those who should be honored, I think, could help curtail aggression as well. Again, I'm open to any comments you have, dear listener. Now, this final clause here, I mentioned this is going to be repeated. Remember, the devata asked or said, Bruhi, please tell, maṅgalamuttamaṃ. And so the Buddha now is, since he's saying it, he's saying etaṃ, and that is all this that went before is the etaṃ. This, maṅgalamuttamaṃ, this is the highest blessing. This is the greatest, best circumstance, like the best favorable circumstance we can find ourselves in. And this is the first of many to follow.